there's kind of two different answers here because some of these you need to do in your workplace, right? Um, but some of these things aren't really within your power to control. So I'll talk about that second. But first, I'm going to talk about like in your personal life, like what you can do personally, what you do have control over. So I like to bake when I'm stressed.
Wow.
And I like to bring those baked goods into
Tracy,
the
baking
office.
is stressful. Oh
No,
my
it's not.
word.
Baking's relaxing. So,
Huh?
I was the only woman in the sock, and the guys love my baked goods. They like once in a while, like if I hadn't brought one in a while, somebody'd be like, "You stressed out to make some banana bread?" I'm like, I was like, I guess I can bake. Um, so yeah, so that was a way for me to get, my stress out by the act of baking, and then also just, sharing my baked goods that were well received, that was helpful. Um, again, when you're at home, hobbies are important. One thing I want to stress a lot to the newbies into this field, or if you're considering it, there are a lot of narratives from people who firmly agree that you should be constantly doing infosec even in your spare time, like, oh, when you're not working you should be home building
Spot on.
VMs and things like that.
Spot on.
Yeah, that's and I at first I bought into that, and then it's a quick way to get burnout, right?
Yeah.
I understand that you need to skill build, but you really need to set boundaries. And
Mm.
this is my segue into what you can do in the office. So your boundaries may be, uh I used to watch the news constantly. I would, look at it for work and I'd look at it for personal. It's getting a little bit much to keep tabs on the news these
Yeah.
days. So I try to limit, my intake of news. I try to make it, specific or for a certain amount of time, not leaving the TV on the news, for example. Um,
Mm.
so, and then how that translates to when you're in work and you might not really have control over things like the alert overload. Uh, there might be a tool to help with that.
Yeah.
Whether or not your department could afford it is another one. But, you know, if there's something that is overwhelming you, try to seek out some fixes, some options. Do your managers and skip levels, do they even know that there's a problem? They may not
Yeah.
know that there's a problem. So that's why boundaries are important of like, I feel myself getting completely overwhelmed because this alert situation is out of control and needs to be fixed. That needs to be a boundary of not staying quiet and suffering through it, but is there another way we can do this?
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so yeah, having boundaries is important. Um, some people work in infosec 9 to 5. They don't go to conferences, they don't go to meetups, they don't build VMs at home or whatever. And that's fine. That's that there's nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah.
was always given a lot of feedback of like, oh, you don't want to be that person, you want to be involved with the community and stuff. Okay,
Mm.
but that's not for everyone. Um, I it depends on, what you want to do. It's fine if you just want to work 9 to 5 at your infosec job and have other hobbies. That's great. If you want to be super involved with the community and conferences and things, that's great too.
Yeah.
Just don't put anyone down for their choices, because
Yeah.
that's how they're going to deal. They might deal with fatigue and stress and alert overload by going to conferences.
Mm.
Everybody has a different way of dealing with it. So if someone says like,
Yeah.
I go home and build stuff, okay, that's great. You don't have to get any more details about it. You can just say, that's
Yeah.
great for you. I play softball after work or something like that. So
Of
so
course.
that's my tips about handling. Boundaries are really important.